the Thursday edition of Chasing That Paper, presented by VegasInsider.com. Fired up for today's show. We went 2-2 yesterday. Or I went 2-2. I think we can do a little bit better than that. NFL Week 14 is here. Thursday Night Football. We got some NBA. We got some college hoops. We got some NHL. And we have got the second most provocative man in all of sports betting, my co-host for the day. Let's bring him in here, senior editor at Betsided, Iain MacMillan with the button down. Wow. Mr. Provocative. Mr. Sexy. Now,
Let me get another button undone here, Joe.
The news of the day. Oh, this is getting awkward, Iain.
It's not coming undone. That button just is stuck forever. Never mind.
I would hate to see Iain entering into a foreplay session trying to remove his belts. The button fly on his jeans. Wow. Very sexy stuff. So Iain was very eager to weigh in on the Brittany Griner situation here this morning. He wanted to weigh in off the top of the show, but I explained that this is a sports betting program, so we're going to stick to that here today. A lot of great takes, though, on Twitter.
Yes.
A lot of experts out there, so if you have some time to waste, go on Twitter and see what people are saying about that. But we got a lot to say about tonight's sports betting action, so let's get right into it here. Thursday Night Football, a bit of a shit game. Let's be completely fair here, but still a lot of great betting opportunities here. My best bet for Thursday Night Football, going to go with the same game teaser. Going to take the Raiders down to minus half a point. Pair that with the under, which we will take up to 49.5. So dig into this under, which we're taking up to 49.5. High scores have been extremely rare in Rams games this season. They've only touched 50 points twice this season. One of those games, of course, was when Stafford was throwing the cup. Now this offense makes you want to throw up. They have zero life whatsoever, this Rams offense. No big playability. Second fewest passing plays at 20-plus yards. Second most pressure and sacks allowed. 31st in yards per rush attempt on the season. I kind of hope we see Baker Mayfield here tonight. To LA's credit, though, and to further support this under, their defense has been strong in the red zone, ranking second in opponent red zone TD conversion percentage. This aligns with an area where Vegas has struggled. Their offense is 28th in the red zone. Bit of a surprise there, maybe. And the Raiders, to support them, basically getting the outright win here. They're 3-0 since Derek Carr cried at the podium. Great motivation tactic by him. They're 3-0. They easily won the yards per play battle in each of their games, so no luck or anything. Against the Broncos, Seahawks, and Chargers. Over those three games, the Raiders lead the NFL in yards per play at 7.0 during that same span. The Rams, are 29th. Same game teaser, Thursday Night Football. Iain, what do you got for your best bet for tonight's game?
Yeah, I'm going to back the Raiders in this spot. I got to the minus 5.5. It's up to minus 6.5. I still like it at that number. Anything less than a touchdown here, I'll be honest, it is a square play. It is the public play, but I think it is, the right play tonight.
Jeez. You all right?
I know. I'm still sick 2 weeks later. Yeah, Joe, you mentioned it. The Las Vegas Raiders lead the National Football League in yards per play over their last 3 games. 7 yards a snap. Now they get to take on a Rams defense that has completely fallen apart. This Rams defense was the only bright spot of this team basically all season. But now that Aaron Donald is sidelined, they are not looking good. 28th in opponent yards per play over their last 3 games, giving up 6.2 yards per snap. And finally, we kind of all know this about the Rams. They have thrown in the towel on the season. Matt Stafford is cleared concussion protocol. He could come back, but they're just leaving him sidelined. Aaron Donald sidelined. Cooper Kupp hurt. Allen Robinson hurt. It's not going, things aren't going well in Los Angeles. And now they signed Baker Mayfield, and reports are he could get the start tonight. And if he starts, I like this bet even more. He has been complete trash this season. And now he has to learn a playbook in like 3 days. Give me the Raiders, minus 6.5 tonight.
Baker Mayfield, baby. I would love to see Baker Mayfield here. A little bit of intrigue in the game tonight. Okay, a little bit of basketball. weird drop on that sound effect. All right, but a little bit of basketball here next. I'll start things off with the NBA. Light ninth in the NBA, just 3 games. My favorite spread pick. Give me the Houston Rockets minus 1.5 points in San Antonio versus the Spurs, and the tank is absolutely on in San Antonio. I don't think I've ever seen anything quite like this. Teams are just taking turns beating the living shit out of the San Antonio Spurs. So check this out. 11 straight losses, 8 by double digits, average loss margin of 19.5 in these games. They're chasing ping pong balls instead of wins in San Antonio. Further proof that they're tanking. They are 30th in fourth quarter point margin in that span. The Rockets are respectable 13th. Greg Popovich, let's not sugarcoat this. This man has no integrity whatsoever. Maybe a bit of a surprise here. Houston is actually great at a few things. Over the last 10 games, they are first in free throw attempt rate, first in points allowed in the paint, and first in offensive rebound percentage, actually 4th overall in rebounds. And just so you know, Jakob Poeltl is out tonight. Give me the Rockets minus 1.5 points. Ian, we move to college basketball. What are you looking at here?
Yeah, Joe, there is a big game going on in college basketball tonight. I'm not even really saying that ironically, especially if you live in the state of Massachusetts. It is UMass taking on UMass Lowell, which I just learned how to pronounce before the show.
Lowell, I believe it's pronounced.
Lowell. Yeah, big Massachusetts rivalry game here. And I think the wrong team is favored. I will take UMass Lowell plus 120 on the money line. I love it. Let's start off by looking at the shooting numbers for both teams. Pretty significant advantage here for UMass Lowell. The Riverhawks, 46th in the effective field goal percentage. UMass, the Minutemen, down at 182nd. But where I think the big difference maker in this game is the Riverhawks' ability to dominate down low. So both these teams, UMass and UMass Lowell, both love the 2-point shot. UMass 19th in 2-point shot rate. Lowell is 44th in 2-point shot rate. But then you look at how they defend the 2-point shot, and Lowell is leagues above UMass, 16th in the country in opponent 2-point field goal percentage, keeping teams to shooting just 42.2% down low. UMass, 198th. Teams are shooting 50.4% from 2-point range against them. That's a difference of 8.2%, I believe, if my math is correct. Also, Lowell has a big rebounding rate, 4th in rebounding rate. UMass is 168th. And then finally, let's finish things off by looking at floor percentage. Advantage for Lowell there as well, 73rd against 151st. So I'll take UMass Lowell on the money line, plus 120.
All right, we move back to the NBA, where we will take a trip to Prop City. Out on the West Coast, we got the Nuggets in Portland to take on the Trailblazers. Player prop I like for this one, give me Damian Lillard to go over his point total of 24.5 points. This is an absolutely beautiful spot for Dame to go off in this one. Check out this Nuggets defense. They're getting killed from 3 and from the free throw line. Over the last 10 games, they are 28th in opponent 3-point percentage and 29th in opponent free throw attempt rate. Almost 70% of Lillard's points are either scored from the 3-point area or at the free throw line. He ranks in the top 8 in the NBA in 3-pointers made and free throws makes per game. And last time he faced them, he dropped 31 on them back in October. He made 4 threes, had 7 free throw makes. Give me Lillard over 24.5 points. Okay, next up, we move to the ice. And Ian has a nice dog. Now, Ian, I don't know if you heard about it, but the other night I hit on the Red Wings plus 195. A lot of people were talking about it. What do you have for a nice dog tonight?
Yeah, I got 2 things I want to announce first. Number 1 is that I have undone the lowest button, so now this shirt is as open as I can for the people. And number 2, I will hand up. I will admit it. I am 0-6 in my last 6 NHL bets. Not good.
All about transparency. You gotta love the
not good. I was super hot in the NHL for like 3 straight weeks, so that I was due for some reverse sweeps and 0-3 back-to-back nights, but. There's no way I can go 0-3 again tonight in the NHL. So my best NHL bet, my underdog pick in the NHL, tonight is the LA Kings to upset my Toronto Maple Leafs here. Yes, another underdog. Back-to-back underdogs here. The Leafs are 7-0-3 over their last 10 games. But if you look at some underlying metrics, they don't really add up to their record. Specifically, they are 30th in Corsi percentage over that 10-game stretch, 19th in expected goals against. Now, the reason they keep winning these games is that Matt Murray, their goaltender, has been standing on his head. But now tonight, thankfully, at least thankfully if you're betting on the Kings, not thankfully for me as a Leafs fan, he will be sidelined. A little rest after a 44-save shutout on Tuesday. So in his place will be Ilya Samsonov, who, to be fair, has been good as well this season, but not quite as good as Matt Murray. And we're going to bet on the Kings here because it looks like Jonathan Quick is thankfully going to be sidelined because he has absolutely stunk this season. 888 save percentage. Phoenix Copley is expected to start in his place. Only one start so far this season, but he had a 939 save percentage in that game. So I'm just happy Quick is sidelined here. I think this is a perfect spot to take a shot on the Kings to exploit the Maple Leafs' weaknesses. So I'll take Los Angeles plus 150.
Ice dog. I love that one. All right, we're going to follow that up with a match made in over heaven going down tonight in beautiful Dallas, Texas, where I'm sure the citizens of Dallas are excited that the Ottawa Senators are coming to town. Total 6.5 in this one. Like I said, I like the over. Let's get right into it here. Check out expected goals for over the last 10 games. First versus third in the NHL. Also first and fifth in high danger chances, second and fourth in shots on net. Expect a lot of two-way action because they're getting lit up on the defensive end as well. High danger chances allowed over the last 10 games, 26 versus 27. Jake Ottinger in that for Dallas. This guy hasn't been himself lately. 16 goals allowed in his last 5 starts. He had a shutout versus Anaheim in this span. We're not going to give him too much credit for that. I'm sure if Ian strapped the pads on, he'd be able to limit the Ducks as well. Ian played a little goalie back in the day. And to bring it all together, 2 top 10 power plays. So let's hope each has a couple turns on the man advantage tonight. Give me over 6.5 in Dallas with the Senators in town. Woo! Yeah! Yes! What a show so far. Only about halfway through here. Guys, if you're watching on YouTube right now, if you like what you hear, give us a like. Hit that subscribe button as well, because then it makes it easier to find us on YouTube. So 7 total picks there, guys. If you're looking to tail, if you're looking to fade, as I often say, the choice quite simply is yours. I recommend placing your action over at BetMGM. Let me tell you a little bit about them. Kick off your day of sports betting with the king of sportsbooks. Sign up with BetMGM using bonus code VIBONUS, and your first wager is risk-free up to $1,000. That's VIBONUS, all one word, no spaces. And your first wager is risk-free up to $1,000. Visit BetMGM.com for terms and conditions. You must be 21 or older. BetMGM, the king of sportsbooks. All right, Ian. Let's get into a little segment here. We'll call it bold predictions. And when you call something a bold prediction, if it doesn't come true, it means you can't criticize me. But if it does come true, I want a ton of credit.
Yes.
That's how it works. When you see like someone has bold predictions for the 2022 NFL season, they make these ridiculous predictions and 1 in 10 comes true. And they want a ton of credit for the one that comes through. So I'm going to want some credit if any of these come through. So I got 3 for the NFL, 2 for Major League Baseball. So I'm going to give you my bold prediction. Then I will allow you to weigh in. So bold prediction number 1. A couple here related to the Rams. So the Rams and the Lions are kind of joined together in history a little bit here after this Matthew Stafford deal, and the Lions own a bunch of their draft picks. So my bold prediction is that the Lions will play in a Super Bowl before the Rams do, and it will happen within the next 5 years. So let me tell you a little bit about the Detroit Lions. The way they're constructing this roster is an absolute thing of beauty. You know, most teams, when they suck, the first thing they want to do is bring in the quarterback. They draft the quarterback with one of their top 5 picks, and they bring in this young guy, and they put him in a shitty situation with shitty coaching, a shitty offensive line, no one to hand off to, no one to throw to. The Lions are going about this the complete other way, and that's the way you should do it. They're building the offensive line, the defensive line. They got some good skilled players. Yes, the head coach is questionable, but they're in a great spot. They're going to have a top 5 pick in the draft this year because the Rams owe them their pick, and they're going to have their own pick as well. And it's great timing for them considering the downfall of the Green Bay Packers this year. The Packers have owned that division for 15 years? So the Lions are in a great spot. Jared Goff's having an all right season. Who knows? Maybe they ride it out with him for another season or two and then draft a quarterback to bring him into a situation. But you look, I talked about these young quarterbacks being brought into a shitty situation. Whoever gets drafted by the Houston Texans could be absolutely screwed for the rest of their career. So the Rams side of things, they went all in to win the Super Bowl last year. They accomplished that, but they gave up a lot of first-round draft picks, and the fallout for that has been catastrophic. Matthew Stafford now has a spinal cord contusion, which could be career-threatening. So that is my bold prediction, Ian. The Lions will make it to a Super Bowl, not win, make it to a Super Bowl before the Rams, and it will happen within the next 5 years.
I don't hate – no, that's not going to happen. Well, they might make it before the Rams. I don't think in the next 5 years. Here's the issue with the Detroit Lions, Joe, and this is something I have a lot of experience in, is that they are just a cursed franchise. So I don't think they can ever make it that far. They can barely make it to the playoffs. I have a lot of experience in cursed franchises. The Detroit Lions are certainly one of them, but maybe they'll make it to the Super Bowl and then blow a lead or something like my Falcons did. But yeah, I can see it happening before the Rams. I don't think it's going to happen in the next 5 years, though. They got a long way to go, and I don't think Dan Campbell can get it done either.
Bold prediction number 2. Also Rams related. This time next year, on Thursday Night Football, Sean McVay will be calling games alongside Al Michaels. Now, if you pay attention to some of this stuff, McVay kind of had one foot out the door. Amazon apparently offered him a shit ton of money. McVay decided to come back. I don't know. Maybe he regrets that. I think he might be able to see the writing on the wall with this Rams team. Building out's going to be hard with no first-round draft picks. The Matthew Stafford situation is concerning. Aaron Donald, who also had one foot out the door and came back. Who knows what his future holds? And you take a look at this Thursday Night Football broadcast pairing. Herbstreit and Al Michaels, not great. So I think they might look to move on from Herbstreit and bring in a fresh face. And McVay, so he can walk away from the Rams job and kind of take his time. Wait for another job to open up maybe 1, 2, 3 years down the road. So bold prediction. Sean McVay will be calling Thursday Night Football games next season. What do you think?
I don't agree with that one. Here's my take about Sean McVay. I think he's like a UFC fighter who retires after all their fights. I think after every season, he's going to tease the fact that he might retire, but he's never going to. I actually think, I know you're not a huge Sean McVay guy, Joe, but I think Sean McVay, and this is proven by his photographic memory, I don't think he has a photographic memory. I just think he watches a shit ton of film. And I think he is exhausted at the end of every single NFL season. And then he toys with the idea of retiring, but I think he loves coaching too much, and he's too young. I don't think he's going to retire from coaching yet. So, no, I don't think Sean McVay is going to retire from coaching and go in the broadcast booth. I disagree with that take.
Yeah, I don't think a full-on retirement. I think more of a break. Because the situation with the Rams, the writing is on the wall. The future's not bright for Los Angeles. Okay, here's my boldest prediction. This one is NFL related. The starting quarterback for the New Orleans Saints going into next season will be Lamar Jackson. The writing is on the wall. Allow me to explain. The Ravens don't want to pay Lamar Jackson. If they wanted to, they would have done it already. Now for a second straight December, the stretch run of the season, the most important part of the season, Lamar Jackson is out with an injury. Plus, he's been a bit of a letdown in the playoffs, if we're being fair. Plus, his playing style doesn't really lend itself to longevity. Baltimore, they could see what's happening with this Kyler Murray situation. They gave him a shit ton of money when they didn't have to, and they're going to be in a hole for the next half decade because of that. I think it's time to move on from Lamar Jackson instead of paying him all this money. So how do the Saints factor into this one? Well, they were a finalist for Deshaun Watson, apparently, an accused sex offender. They were happy to give him a bunch of money despite all that's going on with him. You might think, well, what about the draft this year, Joe? Well, the Saints aren't going to be in a position to draft one of these top quarterbacks in the draft because, like a bunch of morons, they traded their first-round draft pick. That pick belongs to the Eagles. How beautiful is that for Philadelphia? And I just think they're incredibly desperate. So they're going to take a shot. Andy Dalton's not the answer. What's going on behind the scenes? Why they haven't given Jameis another shot? It's a bit surprising to me. So Super Bowl take here, Ian. What do you think of that prediction? And if you disagree, what does the future hold for Lamar Jackson?
I think Lamar Jackson is going to end up back in Baltimore, actually, because I think they've built their entire offense on him. I think to move away from him, unless they get a similar style of quarterback, I think they would have to kind of rebuild the offense. My issue with the Saints now, I'm not a salary cap guy or a contract guy, so I don't know all the money situation. I know they did try to get in on Deshaun Watson, but I do know the Saints are in salary cap hell, so I don't know how that would work out in terms of giving Lamar Jackson the money. They have 3 quarterbacks that they dress on the roster already. I know Jameis Winston's on a 2-year deal, isn't he? So my only question, it would make sense for him to go to New Orleans. My only question would be the money situation. I don't know how that would work out, but I'm not a salary cap guy, so maybe it would. It seems like in the NFL, the salary cap doesn't exist. It seems like teams just do whatever they want and they figure it out somehow.
Sure.
So.
All right, you heard it here first. Lamar Jackson to the Saints. Okay, let's move on to Major League Baseball. Been a great week. Great offseason for Major League Baseball here in the news. A lot of it's looking like the NBA a little bit. A lot of big names changing teams. One of the biggest names, biggest free agents. This one kind of, I don't know if it flew under the radar because it happened at a weird time Friday night, but Jacob deGrom moving on from the Mets, signing a massive deal with the Texas Rangers. But my bold prediction, I don't even know how bold this is, but my prediction is that Jacob deGrom will never pitch another playoff game in his career. The Texas Rangers, they're far, far, far away from contending for a playoff spot. They went 68-94 last season, and you can't bring in a guy like deGrom and expect him to be like a total difference maker. He hasn't thrown more than 15 starts since 2019. The Astros aren't going anywhere. They are elite. They are the favorite to win the World Series. The Mariners are built to contend. Plus, deGrom turns 35 in June. So I think a real desperation move by the Rangers. So, Ian, my bold prediction, Jacob deGrom will never pitch in the playoffs again. What do you think of that?
I don't think that's a bold prediction. I agree with it. I don't think the Rangers are making the playoffs, and he's old, and he's now dealing with injury issues. Yeah, I don't think it's a bold take. I agree with you.
Yeah, I think a smart move by the Mets to let him walk. And, I guess you could say they kind of replaced him with Verlander, who's at least more durable, right? Verlander's coming off winning the Cy Young, for God's sakes. And but that said, I think smart by the Astros to let Verlander walk. They're having some pitchers who are starting to enter the prime of their careers. Framber Valdez looking to be a big-time pitcher there.
And I'll just add that the Mets not only got Justin Verlander, that was a package deal. They got Kate Upton as well, which is maybe even more important than Justin Verlander.
I don't know about the Mets. I kind of like the Mets because I don't like the Yankees. It seems like you got to like one and dislike the other. But Verlander and Scherzer in the playoffs, not so hot over the years. Okay, another baseball take here. Big news this morning, perhaps being overshadowed by the Brittany Griner news, Ian. Xander Bogaerts signed a big deal. The Padres were just throwing money at everybody. Apparently, they offered $400 million to Aaron Judge. They offered Trea Turner a big deal, and they both walked away. But Xander Bogaerts could not walk away from an 11-year deal. Kind of crazy as a 30-year-old, but Hey, another one gets away from the Red Sox here, guys. The Mookie Betts thing, I think that was a total disaster. Red Sox fans would argue that, hey, he wasn't going to re-sign anyways. Bogarts, this is something that was up in the air for a while. It was trending towards going the wrong way, and it absolutely did. Who knows what's going to happen with Devers? But the future's not bright for the Red Sox. You know, do we think Chris Sale can get back to all-star form? Maybe. But that starting rotation, maybe Eovaldi and Nick Pivetta over 1.5 walks. Shout out to him. But my bold prediction, it's been business before baseball for the Red Sox. They don't seem to care about the on-field product. Another 5 years will pass before the Red Sox make the playoffs. What do you think of that?
I like that one. I mean, the AL East is tough. It's not exactly easy to make the playoffs in that division, as we know as Blue Jays fans. The Blue Jays are set up for the future. The Yankees will buy a team every year. The Rays are always in the mix, and the Orioles could be surprising again. So, yeah, I agree with that, and thank God, because I'm just sick of Boston sports teams. I would love to see every Boston sports team be the worst team in the league for a couple of years. That'd be nice for a change.
Yeah, it's been business before baseball for the Red Sox, which is, you know, that has not been the case for the past 2 decades. Really, it's kind of funny, you know, people are running away from Boston. People used to run towards Boston. And now they are the worst team in that division. You know, the Yankees, they're built for the regular season. We can pick at them all we want, but, you know, they're going to win their 100 games. The Blue Jays, rock solid, kind of, you know, it didn't end very pretty for them, but a lot of young players coming into their primes there. The Orioles took a big jump last year. And despite not having working plumbing and paying their players minimum wage, the Rays are somehow in the mix year after year. And it's kind of funny with these big contracts. You see Aaron Judge get 10 years, Xander Bogaerts get 11. You know, these guys are going to be getting paid a shit ton of money into their late 30s and even early 40s. And it's kind of one of these things, damned if you do, damned if you don't, right? Because we saw with Albert Pujols, that contract absolutely tripled the Angels when they gave him, what was it, the 10-year deal when he was 30, going into his 30s, late 30s. And that backfired big time. He was good the first couple years, but then they didn't have enough money to bring in other free agents. It's kind of ruined Mike Trout's prime. But, you know, you could kind of make fun of the Yankees a little bit. It'd be like, well, good luck with that deal when Aaron Judge is 37, 38, 39 years old. But they would have got absolutely eviscerated if they didn't bring back Aaron Judge, right? So, good for the players, I guess, is all I can say there. That's it for bold predictions. Let me know what you think in the comment section or the live chat if you agree, disagree, think I'm an idiot, think I'm a genius, perhaps. Bold prediction for Brittany Grutno. Okay, if you love what we do here at Vegas Insider, you're going to want to check out the brand new Vegas Insider app. We've got up-to-date, easy-to-navigate odds for every major sport. We have all our latest shows, best bet videos, and podcasts, props, trends, features, news, all on the Vegas Insider app. Download the Vegas Insider app right now on Apple and Android. Bet better with the Vegas Insider app. All right, now it's time for you, the viewer, and the Twitter follower to chime in here. We put a poll out this morning, trying to get the temperature, which way people are leaning, which way the wind is blowing for the Thursday night football game. I know, whoa, this is a lot closer than I thought it would be. 54.4% of the people on the Raiders here. Raiders look to be peaking. Rams look to be packing their suitcases. They can't wait for the season to get over. But, you know, we see situations like this all the time. And it doesn't go the way we think it's going to go. And it is the Raiders, so you never know. So, yeah, we wish people good luck on their Raiders bet because Ian's on them and I am on their money line on a teaser pretty much here. So let's see some viewer picks here, Tito. All right, Joey Cheese. Now, he claims to be 8-8 on these. I do remember a few of them. I'm not going to accuse him of being a liar, but I don't know. But anyhow, he's going against us here, Ian. Give me the Rams plus 6.5 with a money line sprinkle. Raiders should never be 6.5 favorites on the road. Maybe not even at home. I don't agree with that, really. Houston Texans, come on, Joey. Rams should have beat Seattle last week, probably. And let's be honest, the Raiders aren't some powerhouse. Plus 6.5 and a plus 235 sprinkle. Good luck. What do you think about handicap, Ian?
I mean, it's a lot of stuff without much, without really anything to back it up. I mean, should the Rams have beat Seattle last week? Seattle was winning the entire game. The Rams took the lead with 2.5 minutes left. So I don't know, but hey, maybe he's onto something. Maybe we're all underestimating the Rams. I don't know. Obviously, I'm on the other side, so I don't agree.
We got to keep in mind there's zero home field advantage for the Rams in a lot of games, and especially in a game like this. You might remember that the Raiders were once called the Los Angeles.
Yes, a lot of Raiders fans.
They're gonna have a lot of fans in attendance. We saw the 49ers a month ago playing at SoFi Stadium. There was more red jerseys in that crowd than Rams colors, which is a real disgrace, for being fair. Miami Dolphins is going to have a lot of fans in attendance for Sunday Night Football against the Chargers, who have zero home field advantage regardless of the opponent. But Joey, we would say good luck, but we're on the other side, so we wish you bad luck, bud. All right, moving on.
Joey Cheese. Shout out Joey Cheese.
Matty Puppy Sports. This is a wild one. I like these weirdo bets. Anthony Simons. I've screwed that up before. 1 or more steals and 4.5 assists. Over 4.5 assists. Plus 160. He has had 1 steal in 10 of the last 11 games and 5+ assists in 7 of the last 9. With Lillard back, that should help his assists 100%. I'm on the point total over for Lillard. The game is even, so hopefully it's close and he plays most of the game. Yeah, I want to weigh in on that in a second. Hashtag chasing that paper. Thank you, Matty Puppy Sports. Good luck with that. I'm Birdman here with a few.
Oh, yeah.
Carr over 1.5 passing TDs, minus 113. 2+ passing touchdowns in 9 of 12, including 5 straight, 6 of 7 on the road. The Rams have allowed 2.3 pass touchdowns per game over the last 3. I think that's a good look. Crosby over 4.5 tackles and assists. Hopefully some sacks in there as well to support my under side. Hit in 5 of 7 road games, average of 6.4 tackles plus assists. Yeah, I like these defensive player props. Number 3, Las Vegas second quarter, minus 1.5, minus 110. Las Vegas is 8-4 in the second quarter ATS, 5-0 over their last 5. Yeah, so some under the radar looks from Birdman. Good luck with that. And that's it. Yeah, I wanted to weigh in on Matty Puppy saying I hope
Brittany
this game is
Griner?
close. So I had 2 player props last night. DeMar DeRozan, I had him going over 25.5 points. Of course, I check in at halftime. He has 6 points. And I'm like, what in the hell is going on here? He ends up scoring 27 points. So I'm pretty good. He just exploded in the fourth quarter. I don't even think he scored too many. He must have had 15 points in the fourth quarter. So some good luck there. But the other player prop, I had Jason Tatum going over 28.5 points. Hey, big game versus the Phoenix Suns. Should be a good game, right? That game was fucking over at halftime. The Suns, they got to be concerned. They've got their ass kicked by Dallas and Boston over the past week. I think their championship window, it's got to be like that. I would take a handful of teams in the Western Conference to beat Phoenix in a playoff series. Golden State Warriors healthy. The Memphis Grizzlies were coming on strong. I would take Dallas to beat them again in a playoff series. So that is the thing. I don't really think you see that with too many other sports. Sometimes in the NFL will be, a big time blowout or an injury. Players getting yanked is kind of rare in the NFL. Maybe a game or 2 a week, really. But in the NBA, it happens so often. Where, Jason Tatum won't come out for the fourth quarter, or a player gets fouled out, or an injury, or they get kicked out or something like that. So that's why I don't play as many player props as I used to. So hopefully I don't get burned by the Damian Lillard one tonight. And I was so pissed off at the NBA. And I know you're probably a guy who thinks college basketball is better than the NBA, and that is fine. I know a lot of people have that opinion. the least fan-friendly thing in all of sports is these guys just taking nights off. It's such incredible bullshit. LeBron James takes the night off last night in Toronto. Steph Curry takes the night off last night in Utah. Could you imagine buying tickets for these games months in advance? I'm going to bring my son to see Steph Curry. I'm going to bring my kids to see LeBron. And people would be like, well, if it's a second game of a back-to-back, you shouldn't have to worry about that. You shouldn't have to worry about these guys just sitting out. It is insane that this is not more of a big deal, this load management horseshit. The worst possible case of it tonight, we got the Clippers and the Miami Heat. If you handicap the NBA and you look at the injury reports for these teams going into a game, you got no clue who's playing, especially it's the second game of a back-to-back for the Clippers. You think Paul George and Kawhi are going to be out there? I doubt it. Jimmy Butler's probably going to play. It's a complete and total disgrace. And I know they play 82 games. And how do you fix this? Well, you can't. Like, you could say, okay, they should play less games. They're not going to leave all that money on the table. There's too much money to be made. I think eliminate all back-to-backs. 3 games max a week. Then again, they'd still probably take advantage. The annoying thing about it is, though, Ian, it's smart that they do this. The fan, towards winning a championship, the fan gets completely screwed. But if you only have to play Steph Curry 55 games, why wouldn't you? You can get away with it. Right? So it's very frustrating as a fan. Would you agree that, are you a college hoops over NBA type of guy?
Listen, I'm not a basketball fan as a sport to begin with, so I do enjoy college basketball more, but I fully get why people who are truly like fans of the sport of basketball like the NBA better, because it's better players and it's, it's a better example of the sport being played at the highest level. But as someone who doesn't really love the sport of basketball itself, I like how every game in college basketball is extremely important. Guys aren't taking days off in college basketball. And I love how especially the mid-major teams are just fighting for a spot in the tournament. So I think the stakes in college basketball make it more interesting. And I'm not too bothered by the lower level of play because I'm not really a basketball purist to begin with. Now, football, I'm the opposite way because I'm such a big football fan. As a sport of football, I don't like watching college football because it's not good football to watch, in my opinion, because it's technically not sound. That's why I like the pro game a lot better because it's just a lot better product. So, yeah, I'm a college basketball guy, but I'm not going to say it's a better league. It's just fits my interest more.
Here's my problem with college football. Going into each season, maybe 2 or 3 teams have a shot. Like a very small percentage of the teams have an actual shot at winning the national championship. Like we could have gone back to the start of this season and everyone was saying Georgia. Of course, Alabama was getting some votes in there. People liked Ohio. No one really liked TCU, but they're not going to do anything. So I don't like that about college football, that people say games have more meaning, but towards what, really?
Right.
Like so many teams just have no shot whatsoever. And even when they do expand the playoff, it's going to be more interesting. But you're going to see, we see in the playoff now in the semifinals where was it Clemson beat the shit out of Notre Dame by 30 points, like situations like that you see all the time. And I don't like what bowl season is becoming. Bowl season is going the way of the NBA. So many top players not playing, and they shouldn't play. If we're being fair, they're not getting paid any money, but the guys, they're going into the transfer portal or they're going to declare for the NFL draft. So why would you play and risk injury? There was a big injury last year in a meaningless bowl game. I forget exactly who the player was. I don't know if that rings a bell to you. I think it might have been a quarterback, but yeah. A raw deal. So, yeah, I like the NFL much. It's not even close. But I understand the arguments of some. I didn't really grow up watching a lot of college football. So
also, that is the thing that we have to admit, Joe, both me and you, being Canadian, we don't have an allegiance to a school in the States. So I think a lot of college football fandom is being like, oh, I went to this school. I have a connection to it. I feel more personally involved, which, to be fair, we don't.
Yeah, there's a real passion there, and the rivalry games mean something. Like there's situations where you could say, like, hey, each team has their equivalent of a Super Bowl each year. It might be in mid October or the start of November versus their biggest rival, and people come out and they absolutely love it. So yeah, I understand that side of the argument. 100%. Okay, guys, it is now time for today's Handicapper Heat Check presented by VegasInsider.com. Your home for the best expert picks in the business since 1997. Today's featured handicapper is Micah Roberts. 13-3 NFL in Week 13. Paul Bovey also smashed books. He went 9-1, and Platinum Sports is on a 13-4 NFL streak. Visit VegasInsider.com/picks. That's VegasInsider/picks for tonight's Thursday night football action. That's your handicapper heat check. Stay hot, bettors. Woo! All right, Ian, before we send you on your way, what do you have out there that Chasing That Paper viewers can check out?
Yes, the NFL Week 14 episode of the Bacon Bets podcast is live. My best bet for all 13 Week 14 games, and daily bet slip will be live at 5 p.m. Eastern to give out the rest of my best bets for tonight that I didn't give out on this show here today. So, yeah, check those things out.
All right, fantastic, guys. If you're looking for UFC 282 coverage, not a big pay-per-view, but some interesting fights going down on Saturday night. I have 3 separate videos up right here on the Vegas Insider YouTube channel. I chatted with the Olympian, Mark O. Madsen, giving out our predictions for the 3 top fights on the card. So if you like the UFC, if you like betting, make sure you check those out, and make sure you check out Chasing That Paper tomorrow. It's a big Football Friday show. We're coming off a winning week last week. We're going to look to do the same again tomorrow. Obviously, same time, same place, 11 Eastern, right here on the Vegas Insider YouTube channel. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. Okay, guys, good luck with your picks tonight, unless you are fading us. And as always, keep chasing that paper. Woo!